Units of mass can easily be subtracted as long as the units match. If the units match, subtraction of units is like any other subtraction. So, for example, 300 milligrams take away minus subtract 120 milligrams is equal to 180 milligrams. So we have a subtraction problem where our units match, milligrams and milligrams, and it's super simple. We just do the subtraction of the numbers. 300 minus 120 equals 180. And you can see that it's really simple and much like any other subtraction. But when you are subtracting using different units, it becomes a little bit more difficult. The first thing you need to know is your unit conversion tables. Make sure that you have memorized them. Let's take a look at an example of subtracting different units of mass, units that don't match. Our example asks us here to subtract 30 grams minus 300 centigrams. So in this problem, we are trying to subtract centigrams from grams. And we cannot just subtract the numbers here. If we do, we'll get the wrong answer because the units of measurement do not match. To do this kind of subtraction, you need to make sure all the measurements are in one common unit. To solve this problem, we are going to convert so that all the measurements are in grams. So from our unit conversion table, we know that 100 centigrams is equal to 1 gram. So 300 centigrams is equal to 3 grams. Now we are going to replace the 300 centigrams with 3 grams in our problem. So we'll rewrite our problem of 30 grams, but then instead of subtract 300 centigrams, we are going to do subtract 3 grams. So subtract 3 grams, and now you can see that we have both units of measure in grams. And so now I can simply do the subtraction of 30 minus 3, which is 27, and report my answer in grams, 27 grams. The important point to note in this type of a problem is that we need to convert our units to one common unit, in this case, grams. These unit operations are more difficult if the measurements are written in mixed units. Subtracting mixed unit measurements is the most complex operation with units. You need to break your problem up into steps. The first step will be to vertically align the numbers by units and subtract them individually. For step 2, while you're subtracting, many times you will find that you can't subtract because the number you're subtracting from is smaller. During normal subtraction, you borrow and add 10 to the number. After that, you perform the subtraction. You will do the same operation in these mixed unit cases as well. You will borrow from the unit on the left. You will borrow one of the bigger units on the left and convert it to a smaller unit. Let's learn this by working through an example. Our example asks us to subtract 9 grams 39 centigrams minus 3 grams 45 centigrams. So we have mixed units of measurement, both grams and centigrams in each measurement. So first we start out by aligning our problem vertically. So we want to make sure we have the 9 grams 39 centigrams on top. And then underneath we want to make sure we line up grams with grams and centigrams with centigrams. So we've got 9 grams 39 centigrams minus 3 grams 45 centigrams. Well, right away here I can see that 39 is smaller than 45. So we're going to need to borrow one from the bigger unit on the left. The bigger unit on the left is in grams, and we're going to borrow 1 gram from it. So we're going to borrow 1 gram here from these 9 grams and transfer it over here to our centigrams. And since 1 gram is equal to 100 centigrams, we can rewrite our numbers. Step 2 is to convert our numbers, or to borrow what we need from the bigger unit, step 2. So in where I had 9 grams, 39 centigrams, this is the one that I need to borrow from. So I'm going to borrow 1 gram from these 9 grams, which is going to make this 8 grams. And when I borrow that 1 gram, I'm going to convert it to centigrams. So I'm going to have 8 grams left over here on this part of the measurement, and I'm going to have 100 centigrams plus 39 centigrams on this part of the measurement. So 9 grams, 39 centigrams becomes 8 grams, 139 centigrams. I simply borrowed 1 gram from the 9 grams, converted it to 100 centigrams, and added it to the 39 centigrams. So now I can rewrite my problem. I'll erase my little conversion here though so that it's not so crowded. And I can rewrite my problem by again aligning vertically my grams with grams and centigrams with centigrams. So now you can see that we've simply rewritten the problem by doing some converting of units, and we now have a problem that we can subtract because 45 is less than 139. And so I can subtract 45 from 139 to get 94 centigrams, and I can subtract 3 from 8 to get 5 grams. So my final answer on this is 8 grams 139 centigrams minus 3 grams 45 centigrams is 5 grams 94 centigrams. The important point to remember is that you should know your conversion table well, and when you borrow, make sure that you are borrowing the units correctly. If you make a mistake in the borrowing, you'll get the wrong answer. With lots of practice, you'll get really good at these problems.